Welcome to the Joe Vin Sports Show. Today we got Chris Mazza on for an interview of the Boston Red Sox.
Chris, what's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
So Chris, Joey, and myself are childhood friends. Go back a long ways. When did we meet? Was 7 years old, 6 years old?
About that.
You were
I was trying to think about this the other day.
9 and I was 8. It was when we were on the Orioles.
Okay.
Because it wasn't football because I didn't play football till the next year. So I was 9.
That's right. Okay. So we go back a long ways, and obviously me and Joe are sitting here behind a microphone, and Chris is in spring training. So we saw how all of our careers turned out.
We took the high road sports.
But yeah, we're obviously just been talking baseball and everything kicking back off. And so just wanted to connect with someone who's kind of living it every day. And yeah, Chris, why don't you give everyone just a little bit of background? You don't have to go like too crazy, but kind of just how you started out, where you got to today, and how you ended up in Red Sox camp.
Jeez, man.
Doesn't have to be crazy, but just
no, I know.
Some people know.
I know. No, it is. It's a kind of a crazy story, like when you really think about it.
It'll be a Disney movie in no time. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, you guys know the story, but I mean, basically, being around you guys, I was always the small little kid growing up. Like I was good, like when we were in Little League and stuff, and then in high school, like I wasn't able to be as good as probably I could have been if like maybe I got held back like 1 or 2 years, and I would have actually been like literally the perfect time to be a senior in high school. But
you hit your growth spurt more senior year or college? Senior year, right?
I mean, yeah. Senior year starting baseball season, I was 5'7", and then when we graduated, I was 5'11".
That's crazy.
That's all you know.
And then you got to college. Now you're 6'4". So
yeah.
A little bit of the late bloomer and everything. And then you ended up at Menlo, which is where I went.
And that's another reason why I went there is because, I mean, first of all, they weren't going to cut anybody. So I was like, hey, I'll get 4 more years. It's close to school. And then I'll go into firefighting. Well, that kind of went on the back burner when everything kind of started clicking again. Like I was like, 6'1", 6'2", my freshman year. And like my body stopped growing as much. It just slowed down. So like those baby fawn legs that I had, like freaking when you hit those growth spurts, like it wasn't, everything started to click again.
And then you were 6'4", and all of a sudden you're throwing 95. That changes things a little bit.
Well, let's not forget when Chris was in college, he was playing shortstop, and his coach realized, you're like, wow, this kid's got a cannon, put him on the mound, and he was clocking 95 plus.
No, I told them to put me on the mound.
Oh, okay, you were the one.
Because I knew nobody threw over 90 on our team, and I was like,
give me a shot.
Hey, I've pitched in Little League, and I have a good arm. Like, let me see if I can get on the mound. And then next thing I know, I was throwing 95 on the mound.
And then you played through your junior year and then got drafted, right?
Yeah. And the draft is probably the worst thing you'll ever have to go through once you get in pro ball, or is one of the worst. Because, I mean, you get scouts and all these guys like, hey, yeah, we're really interested. We're looking at taking you in the top 10 rounds, and then yeah, you're watching.
12th round.
Here goes round 10. No call. Oh, crap. And then you just, like, keep on waiting. Like, okay, what's going on? Is this actually going to happen? And then 27 rounds later,
But
I finally get drafted. I was like, and I got drafted, and I was standing for the national anthem in a summer ball game in freaking North Carolina.
So how'd you find out? Like someone from the stands just was like, hey, you got drafted?
No, so I told our coach, dude, that hey, can I have my phone in the dugout tonight? I'm supposed to be getting a call today, hopefully about the draft. And like, yeah. Well, I didn't know I didn't have my phone on silent. It was all loud, and they're halfway
Who's your
through the
ringtone?
draft. I don't know what the ringtone was. I just knew my phone was ringing.
So you
then I forget who was standing next to me. They just like directly stopped looking at the flag and like looked right at me, and we kind of just like looked at each other and we're like, what's going on?
That's so awesome. And it was the Twins you got drafted to.
Yeah.
Right?
And actually Chris Cleary, one of my teammates at Menlo, I saw his text. So basically he told me first that I got drafted.
That's so funny.
Because he was watching the draft.
That's so awesome. It's like delayed probably. Yeah. And you got a call from the team telling you that. It wasn't like you saw like, obviously it wasn't like ESPN headline that came across.
It was the one of the scouts, and he was like, hey, congratulations, like we just drafted you.
That's pretty awesome.
It was a missed call, but I also had a text message. So when I opened my phone on the screen, it said Chris Cleary, and it showed his text message saying, so that's how I found out.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I called the number back.
You're like, oh yeah, I'll take it. I'm in.
Yeah. They're like, oh, too late, dude.
Right.
And so you get into the organization, and obviously, we don't have to go too crazy on it. You kind of get in there, you bounce around a little bit. You ended up getting traded to the Marlins, or you got DFA'd and then signed with the Marlins?
Yeah, so I got released twice. I got released by the Twins in 2015, and then like 4 days later, I think me and Joey and Nick were actually golfing, and
yep.
you were
like, I'm gonna drink a tall boy today. It's okay. You're like, I'm not on the team right now. And like as you're saying it, you get the phone call.
Yeah. Like I get the phone call and we're like, yeah, I just got picked up by the Marlins. And it was like, yeah. I was like, all right. Because I was only at home for like 4 days.
Yeah, you weren't here very long. I remember that. And you get picked up by them, play with them a whole season, and then
yeah, so I was with them from 15 to 18.
Okay.
And like thinking like 17, I had such a good year. And the Marlins actually we were kind of struggling at that point. I had 301, and then somebody goes down and talking about that they need a starter. I'm just like, okay, like this has to be the chance. And it was between me and another guy, Chris O'Grady, who actually is funny because we played on the same summer ball team that day that I got drafted. And so everybody's funny about that. Everybody's like saying congratulations when we get in the dugout and everything. And when I told them, and after the game, we get back on the bus to go back to where our field was. And like 5 minutes into the ride, Chris O'Grady stands up. He goes, "Was, you got drafted?" I was like, "What? No way!" And then everybody just started busting up laughing because I was like, "Dude, you were in the dugout with us."
Wait, and he's the guy that ended up getting the call up?
He's the one who actually ended up getting the call.
Wow. That's crazy, though, that, like, the network, like, guys you play with.
Small world.
Yeah, I was going to say, guys you play with in just crazy leagues or teams or play against, like, you end up, for the most part, guys that hang around run into each other, like, just nonstop,
Well, yeah. Well, think about, like, what's funny this way. So, me and Benintendi, coming into this year, we didn't know each other at all. We never played against each other, completely different age and stuff. And we're talking about how I was living in Nashville now. And he's like, "Oh, I live in Nashville." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Where do you live?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, we're like living right off the Mumbrian Street." He goes, "I live off the Mumbrian Street." He's literally like,
no way,
100 yards away from us in a different apartment complex.
That's
That's
so
crazy.
funny. That's awesome, though.
It's like, are you shitting me?
That's so awesome. And
Yeah.
so going back, fast forward, so you get dropped by the Marlins, and then you get signed with the Brewers for like a hot second, and then you're with the Mets last year.
Yeah, well, no, I went to see. So the Brewers called me.
Okay.
And after I got released by the Marlins, and then, I mean, I also had to go to Indy Ball. I went and played
Right.
2
I remember
months of
that.
Indy Ball, and then the Mariners or the Brewers called and like, hey, yeah, we want you to come. So I drove up to South Carolina or North Carolina where their high A team was, and did all the MRIs and stuff and everything. And, 3 days later, after all those MRIs, they're like, yeah, so we can't sign you. I was like, what? And
This is all in 2019, right?
This was 2018.
18.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? So, dude, like, because I guess they ended up making a move while so there's just not a place to put me. And so I go back outside, and I got to make a phone call to the Indy Ball team that I was playing for. I was like, hey, like, they just
Coming back.
signed me. Like,
they're like, yes.
I'm coming back, and they're like, well, we don't have a spot for you now.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was like, are you serious? They were telling me that I would just like roll right back into you guys. And I guess it must have been miscommunication, or the dudes from freaking the Brewers didn't understand how indie ball works.
Right. And then after that, then you get your crack with the Mets, right?
Well, I got picked up by Seattle in August.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, a lot of teams.
I was going to say, you're building up a hat collection, that's for sure.
Yeah, seriously. But, yeah, so I was with the Mariners for just like August, and then the playoff, or they went to the playoffs. We went to the playoffs.
Okay.
And I mean, when I was there, like, I had a 1-3 and 5 starts.
So it obviously got you back on the radar with some teams and organizations.
Yeah, and then I ended up signing another year, re-signing with them for 2019, and then then they picked me up from the Mets. Ended up picking me up at the Rule 5 draft because
that's right.
Seattle didn't protect me.
And when you go Rule 5, they have to add you to the 40-man, right?
That's only when so there's different phases. So that's with Big League Rule 5.
Okay.
And then there's a AAA phase and a AA phase. Basically, the AAA and AA phase is basically a mandatory trade for cash.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
It's not like they are like, oh, you want to draft us, or you want to take our guy and bring him over there? All right, well, there's like $25,000 or whatever,
right,
however much it costs, and now I'm on the Mets.
Okay. And you rise quickly when you're at the Mets. Like, you went from, was it AA you started there, up to, I mean, you got your call up last year, so you went pretty fast.
Well, yeah, I basically got told in spring training the only reason I didn't make the trip, I wasn't going to be on the AAA team, is because I didn't have any big league time. Because all the 5 starters have big league experience.
Got it.
And they weren't going to put them down in AA. So
sure.
And then, and then I just played the good old roller coaster ride. So Binghamton and Syracuse are only an hour away from each other.
Okay.
So I had my first start in AA, and then a move happens. So I get called up AAA, have a start. Another move happens, go back down to AA, have a start. This happened like 3 times. It literally went, back to AA. Then another move, go back up to AAA for the next start. I literally had 5 starts in a row, and neither was in the – not 2 of them in a row at the same level.
That's nuts. And then after that, then you get the call up, right?
Yeah, then I get called up to AAA for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. And then June 25th, I get the phone call about the big leagues.
Okay.
And basically, they couldn't even, like, give me a direct answer that, yes, we're calling you up tomorrow. It was, hey, we're sending you to Philly. You're going to taxi squad. If they end up needing you for tonight, they're going to activate you to the roster.
So you're there and you're not technically on the team yet. Like you're like sitting there ready to go.
Dude, I'm on an airplane. Like I got to the airport the morning of the 26th and they hadn't made a move yet. So, I get on the plane. I still don't know for sure. We're starting to back out, and I get a phone call, and I was like, "All right," it was our not our GM, but it was our head player development guy, and he's like, "Hey, so you're gonna be activated today?" I was like,
"Hope you brought your glove."
Yeah. You're so corny. But yeah, it was literally like he didn't say that, but he's like, "You're gonna be activated today. Congratulations."
That's so awesome.
Like, "Thank you." And like I hurry up and hung up, and I'm like, I got this big ass grin on my face, sitting in a seat next to somebody that I don't even know.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome. And you're up there for a few weeks, or not a few weeks. You're up there for a few months, kind of back and forth. But I mean, most of your time was up at the bigs. Like you stuck the majority of the time up there, right? I know you went back a few times.
I had 51 days last year.
Okay, gotcha.
So a third of the season.
And then you get Rule 5'd by the Red Sox. Is that how that works?
No, I got DFA'd in the offseason. When they when they signed Waka and Parcello.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then I was literally – so they picked up Parcello, who was on the Red Sox roster. And so then when that spot opened up, they claimed me off waivers. So it was basically like
a swap.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. That's awesome.
So now we're present day.
Now we're
the Red Sox. And you're in the weirdest situation known to baseball history.
Yeah, we're sitting there all summer or all, spring. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Like looking at the Red Sox schedule. I'm like, that's cool. Chris comes out to the West Coast a few times, like maybe make a trip out there. And then
the second week of the season, we were going to be out in Oakland.
That's what I mean. I was like, we're all fired up. We're like trying to plan. I'm like, yeah, I'll probably go all 4 days, like, check it out. Cause you don't know when you're going to pitch or what the deal is. And then I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, of course, like all this hits, right? You're up there, from like kind of the start of the season for the first time and everything kind of shuts down. So, I mean, we obviously know kind of, there's a lot of stuff that happened, good and bad, between the players and the team and all that. Like, don't really want to dive into that. But since the restart, a week or two ago.
To be honest, dude, I really don't even know much about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they were calling. I'm sure baseball is calling Chris Mazza to figure out what he wants to do for the season.
How much he wants to get paid.
we all have like 2 player reps, but I mean, like, I kind of.
I'm sure the Players Association was like, hey, let's put Scherzer on hold and find out what Chris thinks about this.
Yeah, probably not. They're probably like, who?
So how has it been the last 2 weeks, dude? Like, obviously, like, you read everything, but I feel like unless you're in it, which is like really why we wanted to kind of get you on, because I think it's kind of cool, like, it's so different. Like I saw a picture that you posted and was like training it or like, getting changed in the locker room and you're like in a luxury suite. Fenway.
Right?
I'm like, what is going on here? So
Yeah, it is. It's definitely interesting. Because you're in this big old place and there ain't nobody there.
yeah. Yeah, you're not in a spring training facility. You're in the stadium.
Yeah, you're in the stadium. Like, there's no fans. There's no, like, concession stand workers. Like at a normal, that would actually be at a normal baseball game.
Right.
And, and then your locker room is basically now a storage facility of boxes.
Right.
And your luxury suites, the business suites and everything up top are players' individual locker rooms.
It's kind of
cool though.
No, dude, don't get me wrong. It's sick. I wish it could always kind of be like that. It's kind of cool.
I wish it was like a real game. You get like a bucket of beer, you get hot dogs, everything's in the luxury suite for you when you get in there.
Yeah, right?
What?
I mean, yeah, the food would be kind of cool. Like, yeah, the luxury, but I mean,
so
it's almost kind of like that. Like, we just have to go get our food down the hall.
What's like a typical day like then now? I mean, obviously, like, as a pitcher, you're not every day throwing stuff, but like with the, the restrictions and how things have changed, like from like previous spring trainings, like how is like your day-to-day changed?
Oh, so much. I mean, just being in contact with your teammates. I mean, you see most of the pitchers that go with you to these other fields. So we're actually using like Boston College like as our second facility, just because, especially like now, like we're playing games and stuff, and to maximize the, I guess,
just
amount of people that are in one area.
Yeah.
Like to, I guess not maximize, but to limit like people's contacts with each other.
Right.
You got 20 pitchers in camp right now. One day there's probably like 8 or 9 out one facility, and then there's 3 or 4 that are pitching, or there's probably like 6 that are pitching in the game that day. And then the other like 2 or 3 are throwing a bullpen. So they're going to the stadium earlier. And then we're going over to Boston College and doing like PFPs and that kind of work.
So it's just really breaking you guys up into like smaller groups and versus like before it was probably just everyone show up to the facility and, you're doing things together and.
Oh yeah. It's all the pitchers in one group doing their PFPs in the morning. And then we all come together and do like a team defensive drill and stuff, and then the hitters take BP, and then we would, either go home or we'd have a game against another team.
Has it changed a lot, like with the timeline? Like you guys, I mean, next Friday's opening day for you, and
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like before, spring training was like a month and a half, maybe more, it's like you have time to kind of like ramp up, get the arm going, or players to get their timing down. Like it was kind of like get used to everything. And it's like, hey, next Friday we play, like for real. Like that's
but
pretty nuts.
I mean, also, nobody was just sitting on the couch for 3 months.
No,
right.
You were on a boat
not
fishing.
Growing like, when we get into off season, like now, like there's like a month or 2 that we don't even pick up a baseball,
right? And
then we start getting back into the routine. Like this whole time everybody was at least probably picking up a baseball,
throwing and
at least 5 times a week, 5-6 times a week, and
right.
doing all that throwing and hitting. So the ramp up is able to happen. The biggest, I think, that is when you start doing the games, the inter squad, that extra like gear that you kind of get, which makes you more sore. You end up being like, there's practice sore and then there's sore after a game.
Right.
that extra adrenaline gets your blood going, and you're actually using a little bit more effort than you would do with just maybe like a practice or something.
Yeah, totally.
So I think those are the biggest things to I think that's one of the biggest things to get back into.
You're not
this quick.
Are you guys, do you have any like practice games or any kind of scrimmages coming up, or is
So
it just
we actually are doing we got 2 games against Toronto.
Okay.
We're going to do 2, I guess, practice games.
Kind of run-throughs and yeah.
What's everybody was allowed 3.
Okay.
And, it's a benefit for teams like Oakland and San Francisco because you just drive 40 minutes, or like both New York teams or we don't have our closest team is New York.
Yeah.
That's a 4-hour drive.
Right. And I don't really see New York and Boston like teaming up like, hey, you want to play a friendly scrimmage here?
Yeah, I mean.
Plus, you guys are going to play each other about, 20 of the 60 games, I feel like, after looking at the schedule. It's pretty wild.
And then I'm also playing against a team that I came from last year, and a team that I didn't even think if it was a normal season, we weren't even playing this year.
Right.
Because next year is when we're supposed to do the NL East interleague play.
Do you feel like with the new schedule being a 60-game schedule and you're playing a less amount of teams, do you feel like who has the advantage, the pitchers or the batters, when it comes to your pregame studying and all that stuff?
I mean,
it's just less people to study, right?
What do you mean? Oh,
scouting reports on different hitters and stuff like that. I mean, you're going to be facing the same hitters and they're going to be facing the same pitchers relatively quickly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely – I don't think it's really an advantage. I mean, you guys both get to do the same thing.
Yeah.
True.
Just as quick. I mean, typically it's always our advantage. If you look at statistics, we're always an advantage.
Yeah.
True.
And it's just going to be crazy, like without fans. Like, I'm curious. I mean, I know the rumor was floated, like it would be awesome. And I know, you guys for a million reasons don't want to do it, but like the mic'd up, like you're going to hear, I guess the broadcast, like players yell, like, just things that you would never hear, right? Like it's on a TV.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, as a fan, that'd be freaking awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Like you would hear like a cutoff guy yelling, like, 3, like you would never hear that, like with crowds.
Yeah. But as a player, sometimes it's hard to not say things that you probably shouldn't say, or like,
Totally. I heard one of the players, and it was like an anonymous guy. It was just like, no, for very obvious reasons. Like there's just things that players talk about out on the field when you're competing that like probably don't want 20 million people to hear, Yeah.
Sure. Or you're just messing around with your buddy and people take it the wrong way, for sure.
Yeah.
Or you accidentally
swear.
Not even swear, dude. It's more offend somebody with something that you say joking around to a friend, and somebody takes it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And all
just
of a sudden,
locker room stuff.
You have to go to like counseling because you said a homophobic gesture or something.
Or just like, you strike out a batter and, you're fired up and you yell something. It's like,
pull
that's going to get caught. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be. Hey, I know we're kind of running short on time. What's a COVID test like?
It's literally you just spit in a cup.
Oh, they're not doing the nasal thing?
No, God.
Uh-huh.
If I had to do that once every other day.
Yeah, I was going to say, you take one every other day, right?
Yeah. If I'm getting a freaking
that's what I was wondering. That's why I asked.
Stuck to my brain, like, geez.
All right, two final questions for you. So with the rule changes, what's going to be the hardest one for you? No seeds? No just like spitting in general? Or no licking the fingers for grip? Like you got to apparently use a wet towel? Like,
Dude,
get your hands.
I'll tell you what, the spinning one is just not possible. It's stupid. Like,
Well, I don't want to get you
try
in
not
trouble
to
here.
spit less. Try not to spit less,
Yeah.
or try to spit less.
I'm sure
If
it's a
you're telling me
habit, like
somebody-
when you get on the baseball
it's just a habit. It's just
Yeah.
even when you're outside. Yeah, when you're in your house, you're not going to spit on the freaking floor, obviously.
Yeah.
But since you've always known that you're outside, you can do that.
Right.
It's legal.
Or if you're just running the bases and, you hit a double and you just kind of stop, like sometimes you just naturally have been doing it for 20 years. Like, yeah.
You slide into second head first and some dirt gets in your mouth. Yeah.
Right.
You want me to swallow the dirt?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just going to be it'll be interesting. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I think are unknown. And, I saw those things. And have you used the wet towel yet? Like, is it way different than gripping? Like,
No, because I don't want a wet towel in my back pocket.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, are you just going to ask someone like have like sopping wet pants like by the third inning? Like, how's this going to work?
I'm swamp ass the whole time.
Final questions, I guess. Are you guys I guess is the team getting fired up and like trying to do like cool like social distancing like celebrations and things like that? Like, are you guys having like fun with it and just trying to like, make the best of it?
I mean, to be honest, I really don't know, because usually if I see people high-fiving and stuff, it's probably because I gave like one of our pitchers gave up a run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're isolated out there. And I'm sure it's more like you're down the bullpen or you're down somewhere else. You're not really, in the dugout, like, with the team necessarily.
Or it's off one of your teammates. Like, your teammate just hit a home run off you. It's not like, yeah, our guy just hit a bomb off freaking the Yankees.
It's more of a wait and see situation.
Doing all these things. Like, oh no, actually, this is my teammate.
Well, I'm wondering. Yeah, the hitters are probably,
Oh yeah, I'm sure
stuff.
they got a bunch of stuff in.
Yeah.
We're just going to be sitting in freaking 6 feet apart, I guess, in the smallest bullpen in history.
Well, we'll be looking forward to a dead silence when you strike someone out and you have to come up with some reaction to, like, you're not going to necessarily be like getting the crowd all fired up,
Yeah, I can't pull.
It would be funny if you raised it up, though.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, just like a little like to everyone.
Yeah, every strikeout, dude, just.
Oh, I think
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for jumping on. I don't, I'm guessing you don't have a whole lot else going on, but I didn't know if you guys have like night meetings or anything else. But
no.
Well, good luck last week here with the scrimmage games and knocking those out. And obviously, opening day will be a little bit different and trying to get adjusted to like no fans and stuff. But it'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of this inter squads right now, and you get used to the no fans. But I think once there's somebody else in a different uniform on a different team, that adrenaline's gonna still go up.
Yeah. Whether you're playing in front of any fan, 30,000 or nothing, like if you're competing.
Yeah.
You're competing. I'm sure it'll be very similar.
Practicing with fan noise.
Dude, it's good. You guys are?
Yeah, we did it the other day.
How was that? Was it different?
It was weird.
Yeah. There's just no one there, like all this noise.
Well, yeah, and also I was sitting up in my suite eating lunch, watching the game. And you just hear like this constant noise. So, I mean, I wasn't out on the field like being able to hear it.
Right.
But I feel like when stands, like just constant noise is like being at the game. Like you close your eyes on the mound or something. Like it sounds like it, but
yeah.
Dude,
I think you got
this noise when you're out there anyway. You can't hear that one person saying, "Yeah, go Chris!" Woohoo!
You have a legit advantage though, so don't forever forget. It'll just be like playing at your Menlo days with no fans in the stands, so you'll be good.
Yes, I probably have the best advantage in the world.
Cool, buddy. Well, thanks for jumping on. I know we're pretty much at our time limit. I think we're gonna get cut off here, but yeah, good luck.
Looking forward to seeing you play this season, and we'll have you on in a couple weeks after the season gets going here and see how it's really going.
Yeah, that would be nice. Let's see.
All right, buddy. Go get that Cy Young.
Have a good one, buddy.
All
right, man. Bye.
Bye.